All right. Boy.
Motor off and safe.
Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC, and this unusual looking plane is my first ever 3D printed plane. This is the Craycle 800mm stick. It's their trainer version. It took me about 3 days, about 72 hours to print this out. Now, obviously not a straight 72 hours, but a wing would take an hour, or a couple of hours, a fuselage take 4 or 5 hours, and I'm not there the whole time. But total printing time was probably about 15 hours of total printing time spread over 3 days, as I could change things on the printer. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever completely printed out a working aircraft. I've had several attempts using lightweight PLA and direct non-foaming PLA, and also the active foaming PLA. But this one here, this company, I found them online, and this company here specializes in all their planes can be printed out, and they all printed out in a regular PLA. And I have zero issue printing anything out in lightweight PLA. I just have a hard time with a lot of stringing and issues with lightweight PLA. I don't know enough about 3D printing to teach it, but I can tell you one thing for sure. It's economical if you already have like servos and motors and ESCs and things like that already on hand. If you already have that stuff, and then a roll of filament, this is printed in plain, just basic white PLA and black PLA, basic Bambu PLA, and a roll of PLA runs you about 30 bucks. Well, I can print about 5 of these little planes out of one roll. So what, $8? If it crashes and all the electronics are still good, I've got maybe $8 out. So not too bad of a deal. So really the only way it's that, but the other thing that 3D printing will teach you that I do know for sure, patience. You're going to have several attempts. I mean, I probably printed this wing out 3 times before I finally got it right. And I printed the fuselage out a couple of times before I got it right. And the rudder took like 9 attempts, and it kept stringing or falling all over the place and wouldn't stay on the bed. And learned that you had to heat that bed up a little bit more than the PLA because of where I live at. It's really wet, and you got to dry your PLA, and there's all kinds of things that are included that are more than just throwing a code in a printer and flying it and printing it out and gluing it together. Now, putting this plane together was just as easy as like putting Legos together. All the pieces went right together. I put some medium CA. This thing was designed, I think his name is Clem at Crackle, and he designed this for RC pilots. You've got a tray in there for your battery that's got room under it, so you can put a strap. It's got all kinds of cooling, and everything's modular. The wing bolts on, all the servos screw in, so if you glue anything, it's just the fuse. Everything else can be unglued, so you're not having to, as long as your servos and your electronics are in good shape and you crash the plane, you can unscrew everything as if you never did anything with them. So that's cool. The other materials I use a filament called PetG, or PTEG, which is a harder, very hard, and that's what I like. The cap, the landing gear, some of the hard point, the wing horns, they're printed out in that. And then I use a third material called TPU, which is rubbery, and the tail wheel and these wheels are rubbery and have give, and that's what I printed that out in. And that you have to keep it dry. But other than that, all glues. There's no wing spar in this. It's all just bolts. It all just kind of bolts and fits together like pieces of a puzzle. I'm running a 1300 arrows, or yeah, I think it's an arrows or a Turnigy 1300 milliamp 3S in there. 4-channel chain. I've also got a Spektrum AR630 receiver in there with AS3X Plus on board.
Motor hot gonna burn
And it's
bubble,
also
braking.
it also has reverse thrust.
Cruise mode.
The all-up weight on the plane is, like, with battery and everything, like 600 grams, and the motor puts out just under 1,100 grams of thrust. So it should have more than enough power. So by theory. Now,
Timer reset.
if I can just get her up in the air with this wind, but it's right down the runway, so wish me luck. Got a 5-inch blade on, 5-inch propeller on there. Get out here to the middle here. All I've done is taxied around the driveway. And she's even got little CG bumps on there. So, right, left, up, down, right, left. Okay, probably shouldn't maiden on this kind of wind and this kind of a plane, but we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go. Needs some down trim, for sure. Like I say, I'm just maidening the plane for the first time. Never flown a 3D printed plane before. Flying good though. Flying good. It's got a 30 amp Avian Smart ESC in there.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
All right. Even in this wind, that AS3X is working really well. Very stable plane. Crackle, y'all have done a good job. It was a lot of fun to build. I will tell you that, it was a lot of fun to build. All right. Hard to tell if she's trimmed because of the inverted, no problem. Roll, no problem. Boy, is it windy. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
I can even do a little bit of a knife edge here. Now the real test will be landing her. It is windy. It really shouldn't be flying this kind of wind. All right. Boy.
Motor off and safe.
Look at my shirt. Don't maiden an untested plane in conditions like this. Good looking little plane. We still got 2 minutes, but I have no idea. I'm going to check the battery real quick from right here. and then we'll go over everything. I'm going to try to take her up one more time if I've got at least 50% left, but we got a full almost 3 minutes of flying. Make sure my prop's off. Yep, prop's off. Okay. He even got a little handy latch designed in there to put the battery hatch in. I tell you what, this Crackle company, they did their homework. They really did. Oh, 79% left. Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, it's a Turnigy 3S in there. So we're definitely going to take it up again. I can just imagine how nice this thing and how much fun this thing will be on a calm day. But I wouldn't know what that's like. So 79% after 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes of flying. So that tells me you put a 1300 in this, you can fly it for 10 minutes. Easy. Easy. Now, like I said, I use basic PLA for the body, which I did black for the elevators and white for the rest of it, and black PetG for some of the hard parts. Interesting enough, you even go back to kind of the old school way of slotted wings where you put hinges in, like the old school guys, the wood. But you print those out. You print them out in that TPU, the flick. You actually print your hinges out. And he's got slots in there, and you glue them in just like you do the old school wooden balsa. So it had a lot of aspect. The build was a lot like that in a way that you have to make your hinges and slot them and all that. But a lot of that work, the slot's already done for you. So Crackle, y'all did a good job with this. If this thing does this well in this crazy wind,
Motor hot
and cross breeze now at that. All right, okay, let's try this again. I'm just going to take it up one more time. So I'm not want to press my luck. Right, left, up, down, right, left. She did need a lot of down trim. Because to me, she felt when I checked the CG, she seemed too tail heavy. All right. Very stable craft.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
All right, let's take it up. Oh, she'll snap roll like nobody's business. Good flying little plane. Little. Now, and the nice thing about Crackle, all their planes, they not only are able, but they encourage you to upscale them, to make them larger. And they even provide you, they can give you some files for upscaled servo mounts. So you can this plane here is made to be upscaled to 125% and 150%. Of course, you'll have to get a bigger motor and battery and ESCs then, but all right, let's see if we can land this in this crazy wind.
Time remaining 1 minute.
Oh boy. Let's take her up again. And everything, like I say, everything just bolts on. You glue the parts of the fuselage together, and then everything else bolts on. So you can easily recover parts if you crash. Oh boy, is it windy.
30 seconds.
Like I said, I'm just trying to fly her around. Hold on.
20 seconds. 10.
All right. I don't even want to try to. Who knows? Maybe I can get her turned.
Timer expired.
All right, now I'm going to plant that tail. Put that tail straight down to act as an air dam. Okay.
Motor off and safe.
All right, 25 seconds left. Motor's off. Honey, show them the flags. Show them what we're dealing with here. Oh boy. Whoop. I had that one rough landing, but plopped her down, but I don't see any cracks. The way they have this designed, you've actually got some suspension here. Look at that. That bends. And the way he's designed it, you've got some give to it. And these are kind of, they're hard rubber, but they still got some give to them. So very, very nice design. Actually, honey, let's go back underneath the cover because we got some stuff we want to talk about. All right. Now, they also provide you files to print out your decals. You get some sticky paper or some printer paper that does decals in your printer. I didn't do that. But he's got stick right here, Crackle logo there, and their logo is actually as a crow, and it's actually on the battery hatch there. Okay, and if you can see it, like I said, this is made out of hard PetG filament. Underneath here, these little white doors here, you unbolt that bolt, that thing slides out, and then you've got your two screws that come with your servo that screw it right in, so you can take that servo right out, no problem. The gear just bolt right on. I got 3 screws. You had to provide your own screws, and all that, because you're just getting the computer files. Screw that in. Little wheel that just glues right to the bottom of that rudder. Okay. Now, what I really like is this hatch. And there's lots of things about the plane, but you print that out, and then that's this piece that you slide down in there, and you just put a screw. It's a 2.5 millimeter hex drive screw that goes into this plastic spring that you print out, and it makes a working latch. And and this thing looks, and all this plane feels like something you bought off the shelf, which makes an interesting point, because if you say, well, I don't have a 3D printer, but I really want that plane, you can buy it. You can buy this plane 2 different ways. You can buy it just the frame, like you see here, except his is all, I'm going to put a link to his build video in here, to this video, because I put it together, okay, because I put it together exactly the same way he did. I mean, almost verbatim. And you can get it 2 different ways. You can get the basic kit, which is everything you see minus the electronics. So you don't get a motor, you don't get an ESC, you don't get your servo. It's just the basic, like an ARF kit. All right. And it's 30-something bucks plus shipping. And he's in Turkey. Shipping from Turkey is like $20. So you can get the whole thing for 50 bucks. I mean, come on. All right. Now, yeah, you don't have a printer, and if you crash it, well, you crashed it. But his will be a white body with a red wing and red tail, or maybe the other way around. But you'll see the build video. Or you can get the whole thing. He'll send you for like $300. You get all of it. You get a radio, you get a battery, you get a charger, you get everything you need to fly the plane. Of course, you got to put it together. All right. So that's just kind of cool. And so if you don't have a 3D printer, you can still get this plane. All right. And it's like the old-fashioned ARFs, you got to provide all your electronics there, which that's neat. The wing just has 3 bolts that holds it in, and everything bolts in and bolts out. The motor mount, you have 2 screws that actually go into the side of the motor mount. You bolt your motor to their mount and then slide it in and then secure the motor on both sides with a screw. I mean, so you could pull that out and change the motor out if you wanted to. I mean, it's modular design, which is really, really cool. And it's very intuitive. It's very simple to put together. I mean, if you put Legos together, you can put this together. We're going to get blown away here. Okay, enough about me singing the praises of this great, well-designed plane. Let me show you where I've got the battery. Got that 1300 kind of tucked up there. I have an EC3 or an IC3. Huh? Okay, I've got my Avian ESC has an IC3. So I hooked it up, but I got hooked up with an adapter to an XT60 because that's what my battery has. I just got my Avian Smart Avian 30 amp Lite, just Velcro to the side, just like they show you in the video of the build. Got some Velcro underneath there and a slide right there, but there's enough room if you want to have a strap if your battery was a little bit different. That's the 1300. Let's check how much is left in the tank now. And I'm 25 seconds over on a 5-minute timer. And I still got 62%, so really you could fly this for 10 minutes easy. Especially on a calm day, you could definitely fly it for 10 minutes. Just pull that little latch back and it just fits right in there. Just as pretty as you please. If I can get it to, I've moved my battery around, there we go. CG is written on the bottom of the plane. He's got little CG marks. I don't know what the actual numbers are, so I just check it that way. And she still feels perfect right there. Even though it's kind of windy, feels perfect right there. All right, let's go over our flying rates and our AS3X. My regular flying rates I flew in was 100% throws, 30% expo on everything, okay? So that's my flying rates. Made it very simple, one rate. Forward programming, my gyro settings that I flew her in, the gains, are the stock 40, 50, and 60 on roll pitch and yaw. I left everything stock. Priority all at 140 on roll pitch and yaw. Heading into nothing with stop lock all at 35 on roll pitch and yaw. One-time gains. I just love to. I want to bring this back here on a day when it's calm. That would just be awesome. There you go, folks. I mean, I put a little 5-bladed prop on there, which is what they suggested. So I went on Amazon. The ESC, the battery, oh, I'm sorry, the ESC, the motor, and the servos, I'll put a link to where I got them off Amazon, and the prop, and that way you can get the same stuff if you buy this kit or print it out. I'm very, very impressed with how this thing went together. I'm very impressed with the engineering that Clem at Crackle has done. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Clem. I'm sorry. We've talked several times on email, so I really don't know how he pronounces it, but I think it's spelled C-L-E-M, so Clem. And but I'm very impressed. I mean, you got all kinds of cooling ducts. He has a passion. We've talked several times, and he has a passion for RC planes also. So when he designed these planes, he started out designing wood planes and foamy planes and particle board and everything, you know, and just like a lot of us did. And then he's got into 3D printing, and the rest is history. He believes, and to me, to a certain degree, I think this may be the future of our hobby. So we need to kind of embrace this and learn it. It's going to be more and more available to print your own planes, and these planes are start looking better and better. But it's kind of like starting over, and you're learning a whole new discipline in this hobby. So don't expect perfect prints the first time. If anything else, 3D printing will teach you one thing: it'll teach you patience. You must have patience. If you don't have patience, don't even try it. Well, folks, there you go. We checked the battery, we went over the rates. This is a great flying little plane. Even the spinner, I love the front of this spinner. This is cool. The front of the spinner, literally, the way he designed, you just screw it on. Everything just screws on. Even the spinner screws on. The spinner is 3D printed. I mean, it's awesome. It's cool. It's so cool. All right, y'all have a good one. God bless you. Jesus is Lord. And don't forget, folks, faith, family, and friends, and cool 3D printed planes. See y'all later.